Good morning, Salvation's Army women.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me last week. I loved our time together and I'm excited to be together again. The purpose of this video is, as I promised, to kind of take our discussion one step further. And in this video, I want to double click on one of the words that I mentioned in the category of a word that can be replaced by another more powerful word. And that word is but, and I'm not referring to the body part. I'm referring to the word B-U-T. I'm in one of the companies that I consult for right now, hence the different setting, by the way, too. So before I get to the actual data part of this word, I want to tell you a story. So this is back in maybe 2013. I had just started my agency a year and a half prior. The team was about 5 people big, and I was working with a company in Atlanta, and this particular company was selling a video conferencing technology, and we needed to go out and find, we knew our target audience. The target audience was salespeople, and we needed to go out and find some data points that backed up what we kind of all intuitively know, which is basically that when you get face-to-face with someone, you communicate much more effectively, you build trust much more easily, because you can see someone's body language or whatever, all those nonverbals that we don't necessarily get on the phone and definitely don't get over email. And it's actually one of the reasons why I'm videoing myself now. Anyways, so the team and I are doing some research. We're searching online, where's this data that we can use to back up this point that getting face-to-face is more powerful than operating in the traditional meeting framework of calling into a conference call. And I was really excited when I found out that there was UCLA research that had just become available that talked about the power of face-to-face communication, probably because I went to UCLA. But I was only excited until I started reading the research. And the research basically said that communication breaks out into 3 things, 3 different components. The first component is nonverbal communication. The body language, facial expressions, the things that you're subconsciously picking up when I'm speaking to you right now, that I'm not saying. That those things are really what's the bulk of what communication is made of. So 55% of communication is body language. The next 38% is tone of voice. So that's what you pick up, the difference between phone and email, that's why phone is so much more effective than email. And if you can do some quick math, which I can't, I usually need a calculator or a computer, 38 plus 55 leaves you 7% of communication. And what comprises that 7%? It's the actual words. And I was devastated when I found that out because I'm a writer. I love words. I used to memorize my vocabulary words in elementary school as I walked to school, and I would rap them out loud. And so it was this moment where I was like, oh my God, my life is converging into this terrible territory. Anyway, so end of story, we ended up using that data because how effectively powerful is it for what we needed it to do, but it wasn't until very recently that I realized actually how empowering that data is for writers, which of course I wanted to feel because I'm a writer, but just for people in general, okay? So I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna share another statistic and then I'm gonna get to this actual word but. If you've heard of the Pareto principle, it's basically the concept that that most businesses, most investments, 20% of the time that we spend, 20% of the investments that we make, 20% of the customers that businesses have are generally responsible for 80% of the returns. It's called the 80-20 principle or the Pareto principle. So as I was thinking about this principle earlier this year, I realized that if you do that math backwards, right, so 20% equals 80% of your results, the next layer down is that 6.4%, which is almost 7%. Wait, did I do that math right? So if you 80-20%, the 20%, sorry, 4% is then responsible for 64% of your results. So 20% is responsible for 80% of your results, 4% is responsible for 64%. And you can go back one more layer, and then 1% is responsible for 50% of your results. But for the purpose of this conversation, if our words are responsible for 7% of communication, the words that we use are hyper powerful, right? And all of a sudden it was like this actualization, like aha, whoa moment for me, which is kind of what legitimized conceptually this notion that I've had stewing around the back of my brain that I see in the effective power messaging that companies use and in the effective self-narrative that I am responsible for in myself, the stories I tell myself about who I am in the world and what I'm here to do, to create, to give to people. And that you are responsible for and have this amazing privilege, freedom, opportunity, choice to self-direct sheerly by your word choice. Okay, so now I've given this like huge hypothetical, like intellectual legitimization for what I'm about to say, but think about the word but. I gave this example when I was talking, I believe, where I said, I'm really excited to be speaking today, but I'm also nervous. Both statements were true. Both statements are fine individually. And when you combine them with the word but, something else happens. When I say to you, I am speaking today and I'm really excited, but I'm nervous, I'm placing both of those phrases in opposition. I'm basically saying I can't be excited and nervous at the same time. And what's the implication of that statement? That statement, combined by the word but, is me telling you a couple things. One, it's telling you that I am not accepting both of my nervous and excited emotions at the same time, which prevents me psychologically from being able to be present. It prevents me from being able to be with both of my emotions, even though I'm feeling them at the same time. And that's important because, as I also mentioned, the shelf life of an emotion is only 60 seconds long. Yet, if I don't feel it, I spend, the remainder of my day, week, life running from it. So I prevent myself from being able to accept both things that I'm feeling, and then after I accept and feel both things that I'm feeling, move forward and come into a greater state of presence by allowing myself to feel both nervous and excited. So that's point number one. The other thing that I am implying to you, if I say to you, I'm excited but I'm nervous, subliminally, there's a message there that you can't trust what I'm saying because I'm telling you two contradictory things. And the reason that you're receiving them as contradictory things is the word but. So, what's the solution? How much more powerful is it for me to both accept both of my feeling states at the same time, and for you to trust me, and for me to be authentically communicative with you, for me to say, I'm excited to be speaking today, and I'm also nervous. All of a sudden, I'm saying to you, here are both places that I am emotionally. Can you accept me there? I'm accepting myself there. And it gives us much more ground to stand on together as we move forward together in truth. And it also implies to you that, like, hey, I'm presenting every part of myself to you right now. Can you be here with me? And can I be here with you? And then can we move forward together? And that's the power of language. That's the power of 80-20ing our speech. And that's the power of 80-20ing our life experience through our word choice. I'm going to stop there for right now, but what I would love and hope that you will do with me as a next step, my website, CaitlinRoberson.com, which is also in the email accompanying this video, and the subtext beneath this video playing on my LinkedIn, is a link where you can sign up to subscribe to the CR Insider newsletter. And basically what that's going to do is just send you encouragement, inspiration, and stories from other women, and scientific data that backs up some of what I'm excited about and I'm passionate about. And we'll also share some of the interviews that I've had with some of our nation's most iconic female leaders. And it'll come to your inbox, it'll alert you when a blog comes, probably about once a month, not a ton. But I would love it if you would give me your email so that we can be part of this ongoing discussion together, because I will be double clicking into about a dozen words or language choices here over the course of the next couple months that I would love you to have as a tool in your life so that you can continue on in your journey of living yourself into the life that you want to lead. Thank you again so much for your time today, for your time last week. Please feel free to reach out to me directly if you want to talk about anything. I'd absolutely love that, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.